Thank you. All right, and then that way I'll upload this after, so anybody who wants to rewatch it or use it for later will have it. All right, so what we'll do first is for my fourth module group, if you have any questions, hopefully you have worked through the mock exam that I posted. I'm not sure when I posted that, y'all, the last week or two ago. Any questions specifically from that mock exam that y'all want me to go over? And we'll start with that. And then once we do those, then I'll move on um, with my second mod if y'all have any questions that we may not have answered while we went over these, okay? Let's see.
Miss Sanchez,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm in module 2 and I'm
Okay.
looking for the mock exam. I
It
was
should
just making
be,
sure I didn't miss it. Is it supposed to be in the chat?
yeah, is it showing? Is it not showing? I sent it in the chat just now to everybody. Oh, y'all, is
It
anybody?
Yeah, I
says this
got it.
content can't be viewed here. That's what I see.
Okay,
Oh, mine, I got mine. Phoebe, I can email it to you if you want. I was able to get mine for some reason.
Okay, please email it to
Yes,
me.
ma'am.
okay.
Okay,
Is
Me
thanks.
too, because I
anybody?
didn't get it either.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's I can't get it either. I'm seeing the same
So
thing as
you know
Phoebe.
what? So what I'll do is I'm gonna go into y'all's 115 real quick and I'm gonna post it under the announcements. That way y'all can click on that link. So
Okay.
Okay,
give me a
thanks.
second. I'm gonna do that. That way, make sure everybody gets it. All right, let's see. PN 115. Let's see. Here we go. And it's going to say clinical calculations mock exam because that's what I'm using it for, but it'll have everything that y'all will have throughout this course. It'll have just one extra thing, which is the IV therapy, and y'all have that in second module, but not until PN 113. Let's see. I'm gonna attach this. What's it doing it? There it goes. Okay, cancel key. Okay, ladies. So for the 115, for second mod, I just posted the mock exam and the answer key within y'all's announcements. All right, and then let me go ahead and pull up. Okay, let's see. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and connect to the whiteboard on the computer, please. I know everybody will have access to the whiteboard, but please try not to draw all over it and write all over it while I'm writing on it. That way I can make sure that I can do what I need to do on it, okay? Let's see. What's happening? Yes. Alrighty, let's see. Um, All right, yeah, they did a little update thing to Zoom and they changed around a few things. So give me one moment. I'm trying to find where they moved this whiteboard link to. See. Is this it? Nope, that's not it. See, there it is. Okay. All right, there we go. All right, can everybody see the whiteboard?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, we
Okay.
can.
All right, perfect. All right, so what I'm gonna do is we'll go ahead, so for my fourth module, people, do y'all have any, hopefully, like I said, hopefully y'all have completed the mock exam. And sorry about the confusion. I uploaded the old one versus the new one, the original time, but hopefully everybody's seen that update announcement with the correct mock exam and then the correct answer sheet. So any questions from anything on this mock exam? I think we had, how many exams? We had 30, let's see how many questions I had on here. Uh, about 39 questions, I think, but some of them had multiple answers. So, anything specific y'all want me to work on that first? Okay. So let me just look at the chat, make sure there's nothing in there. Okay. All right. All right. So if there's no questions, then what we'll do is we'll just kind of start with some of the top ones and then we'll just move down from there. Do this. Give me a second. Um, so I guess well, let's just start with this way. Let me do
I'm
this.
sorry, Miss Sanchez. I couldn't,
Uh-huh.
it was so hard for me to find my unmute. My thing was
Okay.
the reconstitution because we never did learn that.
Is
So I
this,
was really struggling.
you're in second module, right?
Yes,
Okay. Um, so y'all haven't got to reconstitution yet. I think that's chapter 18, if I'm remembering right.
it is.
So y'all won't have that on the like the test that's coming up because that'll be, well, I don't know. What chapters y'all have on the test coming up? Is it
9,
5 through 8,
10,
I think.
11, 12,
okay.
13.
So
Oh,
y'all are just getting into the dose calculations, like the dose over half or the like the
Yeah, I
okay.
mean, we just took the test on Thursday. When did we take it?
yeah. But
Okay.
we had to learn that in pediatrics. So like they had stuff on the test that we never
That
learned.
we
So
never even, yeah.
Okay. All right. So on that exam, there was stuff like reconstitution and pediatrics on that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait, did y'all take, are y'all talking about that paper exam?
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah, I
yeah.
wasn't, but I don't know why. Miss Sandberg called me about that. Y'all shouldn't have had that exam. I'm not sure exactly why they gave that exam to y'all.
They said
But
we had to have that be if we wanted to finish clinicals because apparently we were supposed to get it before. So they dropped that bomb on us Monday, and that
no,
was a week ago.
y'all are in second module, right?
Right.
Yes.
Okay, so look, don't worry about that exam. That is not an exam that y'all are supposed to take. Y'all are not supposed to take that exam until the end of third module.
Okay.
And so you have to take that exam to get from third module to fourth module clinical. So y'all haven't even had clinical yet, right?
Yeah,
We
we
started
went.
clinicals.
Hmm.
So y'all did Jerry, but y'all
Yeah,
didn't have it. Y'all had it just in this module, but not in first module, right?
right,
Okay.
correct.
All right. I actually need to I need to talk to Dr. Walker because I think they're confused with the old way, which has changed since the clinicals have been taken out of the first module. So I will, I'm gonna talk with her and just remind her of those changes, but y'all don't stress about that exam, okay? Because
Okay.
that was, y'all can't be tested on stuff y'all haven't had yet, which
Right.
is
That's
a
what we
lot.
said.
Yeah,
I'm glad. Yeah,
so
I'm glad
yeah,
to hear that. Many of us
yeah.
are glad to hear
So
that.
what's going to happen is as through this 115, y'all going to be learning all this new math, like that pediatrics and all that stuff that was on that exam. Y'all be learning all of that through second module. You'll be tested on it in second module. And then you won't have it again until the end of third. So don't worry about that exam because that's not going to count for anything. And then I'll discuss that with Dr. Walker so we can just make sure that, again, like I said, that they're aware of those adjustments. So what we'll do is y'all are up to those calculations. So let's do this first. So on my seniors, any questions on my day seniors, any questions on Roman numerals? Or even my second mod at night. Any questions on Roman numerals or military time?
Me, I'm in second
Okay.
module. I
Okay.
don't I just don't get it. Not the
Which one?
military time,
The Roman numerals?
numerals. Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about those a little bit. So for the exams and for the exams that you're having in the class and then like your calculations exam at the end of the module, you're only going to need to know 1 through 20. Okay. So with 1 through 20, these are the only ones that you need to, this means 1 means 5 and this means 10. So these are the 3 alphabets that you will use to combine different Roman numerals, okay? Well, different numbers to make them Roman. So this is the I is number 1, the V is 5, and then the 10 is X. And y'all, they may have the line across it. Either way is correct. It doesn't matter on that, okay? So when we're looking at Romans, so the main thing is, one of the things to remember is that the Romans were superstitious, so they'll never have 3 of anything in a row, okay? So because of that, if we go with number 2, it's going to be 2 lines. Okay, number 3 is going to be 3 lines or 3 eyes. And then when I get to number 4, because I can't have 4 of these in a row, I'm going to have to do something different. Okay, so I know that 5 is V. Okay. And since I'm going to go lower than 5, I need to put my 1 here. Because if I'm looking at this means 5, which is this, minus my 1 equals 4. Okay, so then if I'm going to 6, because 6 is greater than 5, okay, so my next, right here I have 5. Since 6 is greater than 5, I'm going to have my 1 on this side. So that means 5 plus 1 equals 6. So same thing if I'm going up to 7, I'm going to have just my 5
Why is
plus
shit on its ones?
my 2 1s equals 7. Same thing with my 8, because remember with 8, I can have 3 lines in a row. So I have my 5 plus my 3 lines equals 8. So now if I got to 10, if I got to 9, can I have 4 lines behind my V? I can't. So the next thing I'm going to do is go up to my X. Now, because 9 is less than 10, which is what my X is my 1 or my I going to go before the X or after the X?
Before.
The
Before.
before. Because I'm going to subtract that 1. So I have 10 minus my 1 is going to be my 9. So whoever asked me that, did that help?
Yeah, so I get that part, but
Okay.
on the dosage test on Thursday, it was like 14, and I end
Okay.
up yeah.
Okay, so let's look at something that's greater than 10. Okay, so let's say we had, whoops, not that. Let's say we had, let's say we have 17. Okay. All right. So I know that I'm going to have to combine more than 2, right now, more than 2. So first thing I'm going to look at is I have my 10. Okay. So I know that the highest number, I keep saying number, but the highest one that I'm going to need right here is my 10. Well, now I know I have to add 7 more. Okay. So what I would do is I'd go back and look at what was 7. Okay. So my 7 is my V 1 1. So I have 10. Okay. Because that's my max, kind of my max number that I can go right there. Then I'm going to add it to my 5, which is going to give me 15. Then because I need to go to 7 or 17, 7's greater than my 5, my other 2 are going to go past that V, which is going to give me my 17. So let's say they give you 14. Let's say they give you just the number 14 and they tell you, okay, how to write that in Romans. Okay, so first I know it's greater than 10, so I know I'm going to have my x, okay, which is going to be 10. Now I'm just going to be looking at how do I get that 4 to add to my 10? Can I do 4 lines in a row?
No.
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 Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at, okay, my 4, it's going to have to be at least that, whoops, that's not what I wanted to draw. Where's my eraser? All right. So I know it's going to at least be, I have to have my 5 here, right? Because I have 10, then so I have my 10, then I have my 5. So because I need to go less than the 5, I need to go 4. What side does my 1 need to be on?
The
Needs to be,
left.
yeah, so it needs to be before that V. So then I have 10, then I have my 5 minus 1 equals 4. And then I'm going to add that 4 to this equals 14. It can be a little confusing until you kind of do a few. There's a video by Math Antics. No, yeah, it's Math Antics, I think is what it is. They do a video that breaks it down on how to do them, as you're getting up into those higher numbers. And you may want to write it. So it's Math Antics and it's a YouTube series. And if you search the Math Antics and then you search like Roman numerals, you'll see it. And that may help you understand it a little bit more too. Um, I know when I first started doing Roman, when I started teaching it, it took me a minute to go back in and really figure out and learn how to figure out the numbers. So hopefully that helps some. As you get greater than that 10, you're always going to have the X, and then you just have to figure out whatever that single number is on this side, you would add it to it that way. Hopefully that
Yes,
helps
ma'am.
some.
I got it. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right. All right. So any questions? So on with Roman numerals. Okay. Any questions? Like I said, on the military time, everybody's good on that? And then has everybody been memorizing their abbreviations? Because that's just going to be, you're going to have random, I think it's 3 of them. You have 3 random. So you'll need to make sure that you know that whole list, because you can have any of them from that list. All right. So next, any questions on, y'all want to do a few basic conversions because you will have some of those. So on the mock exam, we had numbers 15 through 19. See, let's see, 1, 4, 5, 15 through 19. All of those were the basic conversions. Did anybody have any trouble with those? Let me clear this page.
No, I didn't have any trouble with it, but
Okay.
I didn't do well on that test on Thursday, and I don't know why,
Okay.
because I knew it, but I think I just probably just did it too fast, too sure of
Okay.
myself.
And on
So
the test on Thursday, was that the paper test or
that was that paper test.
that paper test? I know that paper test has y'all all stressed, but try not to worry about that paper test for now, because you won't have to have that particular one. Now, remember at the end of PM 115, you will have a paper test, but um, it won't have the IV therapy part on it. It'll be very similar to what y'all had. It just won't have the IV therapy part. But by the time you get to that exam, you'll have had the pediatrics, you would have had the reconstitution, those things that were on there that y'all haven't had yet. Y'all will have all of that by the end of this module. But let's look at a few of the conversions, okay? So let's look at number 17. It said we have 5 grams equals how many milligrams? All right, so what's the first thing I need to know?
It's
The
1,000
How
conversion.
many
milligrams.
Okay, that
milligrams?
conversion. So what is my conversion factor?
1
1,000
gram
milligrams per
equals
hour.
1,000
Okay.
milligrams.
1,000.
So either way that you write it, y'all, is correct. Okay. So whether you write the 1,000 milligrams first equals 1 gram, or the 1 gram equals 1,000 milligrams, it doesn't matter which order that you write it in. So both ways that y'all said it is correct. Okay. So I'm only going to use one of these. I'm going to take one off so it doesn't get everybody confused. Okay. All right. But again, it doesn't matter which way you write it. Okay.
Miss Sanchez, can I ask a
Uh-huh.
question?
Sure.
On the sheet, I see it written as 5 GM and not
That
just the G.
I didn't catch that until
Okay.
after I posted it. That's old school. Is Graham
Okay.
used to be GM. It's only G nowadays, and I didn't catch that. I had took an exam that was already there and kind of added to it, and I didn't catch that to the end.
Okay.
So it will be G on the exam because that's the nowadays way. Back in the day, I learned it as GM, but it's just G
Okay.
now. All right, so what are we looking for in here with this problem? What am I?
Milligram.
Milligrams.
All right, so remember, I'm gonna always start with what I'm trying to find, right? And then as we talked about before, because this is married, they're married for life, right? So wherever one of the sides go, the other side's gonna have to go. So we're never gonna separate them. So since I need to end up with my milligrams, I need to see what has milligrams in my problem or in my information.
1,000.
Okay. And since I don't want that milligram to cancel out, remember anything I don't want to cancel is going to go on the same row. So that means that 1,000 milligrams is going to go at the top. And then it's married to this 1 gram. So it's going to go underneath there. And then I'm just going to get rid of that because I no longer need it. But now I still need to get rid of this gram, right? I need that out the picture, right? So what has grams in my problem?
The 5 grams.
Okay, so since I want to get rid of it, it's got to be diagonal, right? So top or bottom?
Top.
Top.
Okay, and then I'm just going to put that placeholder underneath there. So then I'm going to cancel these out, and then I'm going to cross multiply. So 5 times 1,000, it's my one, excuse me, it's 5,000. And then my 1 times 1 is 1. And then remember, this line right here means division. So 5,000 divided by 1 is
5,000.
5,000. So my answer, and y'all on the exam, on the one that you type in stuff, so the one that you take online, like those module exams or unit exams, I forget what they're called in 115. If you don't put this comma, then it's wrong, okay? Because in the world of writing numbers, for every time you have 3 zeros, it's got to have a comma, okay?
We learned really hard with it too. She
Okay.
gave us a point back, but we were not taught that, but I'm glad you reiterated.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure who was talking, but I could barely hear
That
y'all.
was me. I'm just saying, I'm glad you reiterated that because we didn't know and we got points deducted from our test, but she ultimately gave it back to us, but we did
Okay.
not know.
Okay. So yes, so part of, I forget what chapter. That was decimals, I think. Oh, wait, I can't remember what chapter it was in, but it's part of the rules. And the first time that I taught 115, I didn't teach that either, and I had to give everybody their because in real life we really don't put the comma normally when we're just doing 4 numbers, but this is the proper way to write anything that's in the thousands. And so now when I teach the class, I make sure that I stress that because I did before. Okay, so I got those. I was thinking about the problem solve. Okay, with the conversions and okay, I'm gonna do some of those too. Okay, I'm gonna teach you. All right. All right. So is everybody doing okay or kind of got it on just these basic conversions where we don't have any additional like doctor's orders or anything? We're just doing basic conversion. Everybody's good on that?
My only question about the order
Okay.
is when it's being asked to you, how do you know if you're calculating for the entire day
or
Okay.
for just the dose that you're going to give the patient individually?
Okay.
How do you know how to read the order to decipher which answer you should be
Doing.
putting on the
Okay.
test?
All right. So let me go over that. Okay. So really, let me clear this out. So really, so every single dosage problem that you work, unless it says in 24 hours or per day, then it's always just that one dose. Okay. And
Okay.
so it's only that each time that you walk in to give that patient something, how much are you giving in that one dose? So let me write out an example. So let's say it says that the doctor ordered Benadryl 25 milligrams, 1 PO BID, available is 50 milligrams tablets. How much, or how many tablets will you give? So,
And should the question always ask us whether we're giving tablets or whether it's asking if the milligrams?
so whenever you're doing, so this is the thing, anytime that you're doing a dosage calculation problem like this,
Mm-hmm.
whatever is available, so this
Mm-hmm.
is available per tablet, that's
Okay.
what you're going to be looking for.
Okay.
Because if I figure it for milligrams, then I still don't know how many tablets to give the patient.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So whatever it's available in, because sometimes it may not even ask for how many tablets. It may say, how much will the nurse give this patient? You'll still need to know because it comes in tablets. That's what I need to look for
Okay.
because I can't just go in and say, um, I'm giving you 25 milligrams. It still has to be in something that I'm giving it to them in.
Mm-hmm.
So whether it's a liquid, whether it's a tablet, whether it's an injection, whether it's milliliters, whatever it's available in is what we're going to be looking for the most part. Now, the reason why I said for the most part is because there's a tricky one that we always put on exams, y'all. And I'm going to show y'all that one in just a second. So let's look at this one, okay? So it says, how many tablets will we give? So when we look at this and it's asking how many tablets will you give, this is when you walk into that patient's room. So BID means how many times a day?
Twice a day.
Twice. So when I go into that patient's room 2 times a day, how many tablets am I going to bring that patient? Okay. So what I need here is what I always do is I always pull out what I need first. Get rid of this right here. All right. So I have an order for 25 milligrams. Okay. Then I have available 50 milligrams per what? Per tablet. So now it's asking me how much will I give? So how many tablets will I give? So what am I looking for in this problem? I'm looking for tablets, right? So
Mm-hmm.
since I'm looking for tablets, I'm going to start with tablets. Okay. So I'm going to do my tablets. I'm going to do my lines and then I'm going to plug in. Okay. So because I need to keep tablets, that means this tablet right here. And if there's no number in front of it, that means it's how many tablets?
One.
Just
One.
one. So up here, I know I have one tab. And what's that tab married to?
The
50.
50 milligram.
So they have to stay together, right? So they're going to go together here. So now I don't need this anymore. Now, do I need to get rid of this milligram?
You know,
I
because
do
of
because
Yes, because you're looking for the tablet.
correct, because I'm looking for that tablet and I want to end up with that tablet. So what has milligrams in the problem?
The 25 milligram.
So top or
Ordered.
bottom?
Top.
Top.
Okay, and what's going to go underneath that?
1.
1.
Which is just my placeholder, right? So now I don't need this anymore, and I can, I was just doing that. Okay, I'm going to cancel out these milligrams, and now I'm just going to do the math. So 1 times 25 is 25. 50 times 1 is 50.
50.
And when I divide 25 by 50, I'm going to get what?
0.5.
0.
0.5.
0.5 tabs. So now anytime, another thing, just FYI, anytime you're doing a math question, whether it's on state board, whether it's on, classroom, if it's going to be a partial of a tablet, that means that this tablet comes scored. Okay. So if a tablet's not scored, are we supposed to break it in half?
No.
No.
No. And what we mean by scored is just that it's going to have that line in between. Now, some tablets will be scored up to where you can give a fourth. So, why is it important that we only cut the ones that are scored?
To give the exact amount.
Correct. So if there's a score, that means that there's 12.5, let's say for this Benadryl, there's 12.5 on each side. Let's say this is not scored because in real life, okay, but not for testing purposes, not for NCLEX purposes, but in real life, you're going to have medicines that are not scored that the doctors are going to order to give half of. The problem is if it's not scored, there might be 7 milligrams at the top and 18 milligrams at the bottom half. We don't really know the exact mixture because it's not scored and equally done. Okay. All right. So this would be 0.5 tabs. Now, let's say there was one more. Let's say this was a question, but let's say it also said, how many tabs will you give in 24 hours? So if I'm looking for 24 hours and they're giving it BID, which we said is 2 times, to get this answer, I'm going to multiply my 0.5 times 2, which is going to give me 1 tablet. So unless it says something about 24 hours or per day, you're always just going to be looking for what amount, what dose am I going to walk in that room to bring the patient.
Okay.
Or even though it's asking for twice a day, you would still
Correct.
just do 0.5.
Correct, because this twice a day right here is just telling us how many times we're going to bring this one amount, this dose to our patient.
Okay.
Okay. All right. That
So
makes
what if it said, because there was a few on there, it was like, well, they take it twice a day for 5 days. Would you just multiply the 1 times 5 and it'll be 5
so even if
tablets?
it says, let's say right here it says BID times 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If it's still just asking me for 24 hours, I'm just going to multiply it times the 2 for this BID. Now,
Okay.
let's say it asked how many tablets for the whole 5 days. Okay. So how much would we give per 5 days? Then you would take your 1 tablet a day and multiply it times 5 days. So it would be 5 total. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Okay.
think what was confusing us, and I know we keep referencing
Oh,
that
that's
test and
okay.
you're telling us not to,
Right.
but the only thing is the
Mhm.
test was so confusing
Yeah.
because it did not ask you any of that. It didn't give you
It
any of
didn't
that information.
specify like,
It
yeah,
didn't say how many tablets, it didn't say the number of hours.
Oh God,
And
I'm gonna have
so,
to look at that exam and see what
yeah.
exactly they
yeah,
gave
and we
y'all.
all put different numbers and I guess we were trying to figure out, okay, what's the correct thing to look at? And that's why I
Right.
asked that question because it
Right.
seems like we were getting mixed information about, yes, calculated for the full 5 days, yes, calculated for the full
No.
24
Yeah.
hours, but the question doesn't tell you that
Say,
information. So we're like, okay, going forward, like just in
right.
general, when you get an order, what
Damn.
should you be solving the problem for if
When
it
you
doesn't state
correct.
specifically what they're
If
asking for?
if it doesn't say per day or per 5 days or whatever, then you're always looking for that dose that you're going to give when you walk into that patient's room.
Okay.
How much do I need to pull from the Pyxis, or how much do I need to pull from that patient's med drawer to walk in to give them the amount in the order?
Okay.
Okay. And so, and it's, I don't know what they gave y'all, because it
It was
should at least ask y'all for for the how it should at least ask you something. Lord have mercy. Okay.
I mean,
But
it did, but it was like for instance, like this problem, it asks, how many tablets would you give? But like, I put 5 tablets because they said 5 per day, but she was only looking for 1 dose. You get what I'm
right,
saying? So it
right.
was like, I thought they wanted the whole amount, not just.
Yeah. Yeah. So anytime if it's not saying it, so the unless it says per day or per 24 hours or per week, you're always just looking for that one dose.
Okay.
Okay.
How much am I going to walk in and give this patient? To give, when I go in, at 9 a.m. and 9 p.m., because that would is twice a day, then how many tablets, or, how many tablets am I walking in to give this patient? Okay, so let's look at, so what I want to go over a couple other ones like this. Okay, so with all right, I'm gonna go ahead and clear this. So let's do one. Let me find one on here that also has a conversion between units within it. So um, let's look at number, well, did I not put any that had, oh, here it is. Okay, let's look at, well, actually, yeah,
Can we do number 24?
24. Okay,
Yes,
I'm gonna
ma'am.
come right back to 24 because I want to
Okay.
go over two things before I do that one. Because
Okay.
so so first thing I want to do is let's do number um what did I do right here? Hold on a second. I think I wrote the wrong answer, the wrong slide. Okay, let's do number 27. And then, all right, so number 27 is going to be a conversion within, and then we're going to do one that the medicine is in a liquid. Okay, so this one says that we have an order for Synthroid, 25 mics. Okay, and what's Synthroid for, y'all? What kind of medicine is that?
Thyroid.
Thyroid. Okay, so am I replacing it or am I destroying it?
Replacing.
Replacing it. Okay. All right. So my available is I'm sorry, 0.125 milligrams. And it's telling us that it's per tablet. Okay. So when I'm looking at this, the first thing, or one of the first things I need to look at is one second. Why is this thing not doing what I want it to do? Okay. All right. Is my units the same?
No, we have.
No. So since they're not the same, that means I'm going to have another step in there where I'm doing my conversion. So what is my conversion factor for that milligrams to micrograms? So 1 milligram is how many micrograms, y'all?
1,000.
1,000.
1,000. Okay. And remember for your exams that if you have to remember those conversion factors, because we won't give you those conversion factors on the exams. Okay. All right. So now I have everything that I need to go ahead and start plugging everything in. Okay. So what am I looking for? How many what's my available in?
0.125
Well, I'm
milligrams.
sorry, it's in what
Milligram per
uh
tab.
tabs? What type of what form is it in is what I'm just,
Oh,
sorry, I could not think
tabs.
of what it was called. So how many tabs? So because it's coming in tabs, that means we're going to be looking for tabs, okay? All right, so since I'm looking for tabs, what am I going to start with? I'm going to start with that tabs, okay? So now, usually I have my two lines, right? But this time, because I have three pieces of information, I'm going to have three lines, okay? Because we're going to have to plug not only our order and our available, but we're also going to have to plug in our conversion factor to make sure that we get the right amount of tablets with the right amount of milligrams or micrograms, okay? So with this one, I need to keep tabs. So what's going to go at the top on this line?
One.
One tab, okay? And what's it married to?
1,000
Zero
milligrams.
point one five.
Oh, yeah,
One two
yeah.
five.
125 milligrams. Okay. So now since I've used that, I don't need it again. So I'm going to go ahead and walk through that. Okay. So now I have a milligrams right here that I need to get rid of because remember, I only want to end up with my tab. So I need to keep that there and get rid of this milligram. So what has milligrams in the problem?
One.
1 milligram equal 1,000 mcg.
Okay. And is that 1 milligram going to go at the top or the bottom?
The
Top,
top.
Okay. And what's it married to?
the 1,000 microgram.
Okay, so they're going to stay together. So we're going to put them here together. And then again, since I've used this, I'm not going to need it again. So I'm going to draw my line through it. Now I'm going to go ahead and cancel out my milligrams because I don't need those. And the whole purpose of us putting this diagonal was to cancel those out. So now I still got to get rid of this microgram, right? Because I only want to end up with this tab. So how many mics do I have?
25.
Top or bottom?
Top,
Okay. And what goes underneath it?
1.
Just that placeholder, right? And you don't have to put that placeholder. It just keeps things straight in my mind. But it's just a placeholder just to kind of hold that place. All right, so now because we have everything plugged in, and when I look at this, when I cancel this out, I cancel these out. Is there anything else that I need to get rid of? There's not. So that tells me that this is now ready to finalize my answer. So 1 times 1 is 1 times 25 is 25.
25.
Then 0.125 times 1,000 should be 125.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. And then times 1 is going to be 125. Now I got to do my math. I'm going to do it with my calculator. Here it is. All right. So now I have 25 divided by 125 equals 0.2
0.2.
tablets. Now, on tests, y'all, so this is the thing. In real life, on test purposes, we try not to give y'all something like this, okay? Because can you give 0.2 of a tab?
No.
No. So in real life, if let's say the doctor ordered this dosage like this, and all y'all had in stock was the 0.125 mics, what would you do as a nurse? What would you do?
Call the doctor for to clarify more, maybe.
Okay. All right. So you can call the doctor, but before you call the doctor, what you want to do is sometimes we just need to call the pharmacy and see, do they have something different? Do they have a different available a different available dose? Okay. Because sometimes they might have this dosage in stock, or they might have another dosage in stock that we could do like a half a tab versus the 0.25, excuse me, the 0.2. Now, if they didn't, then we would want to call the doctor and say, look, you ordered this amount. All we have available is this. What do you want to do? Um, So we try not to give y'all things like this on the exam because it's not really a reality. But in reality, if something like that happens, you would want to try to get another dosage. If not, then call the doctor. I want to see something on the answer sheet. Did I put meals on there? Let me see something. What number was that? I was 20. It was number 27. I'm gonna look at, I think on my paper that I did my math, okay, 0.2. Okay. All right. All right. So any questions on if you have a conversion within your problem? Okay. All right. So next, let's do one with fluid that comes in fluid. So let's do, and I'm gonna come back to 24 or 25 because that's the tricky one that we always give y'all. But I want to do another one first. Let's do number 26. So number 26 is telling us it has an order for C-Pro. What's C-Pro, y'all? What's
Is
ciprofloxacin?
it antibiotic?
Yes, it's an antibiotic. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
it says to give C-Pro 5 grams. And then it tells us that we have available C-Pro or Cipro, just depends on who you talk to. 150 milligrams per 2 meals. Okay. And it's asking us how many milliliters are we going to give? Okay. So when I first look at this, I'm going to look at these. Are these the same? Is my grams and milligrams, or is my units the same?
No.
No. Okay. So since they're not the same, I need that conversion factor, right? And what is my conversion factor?
One
1,000.
gram equals 1,000 milligrams.
Okay, so 1 gram equals 1,000 milligrams. Okay, and now because I'm gonna go ahead and set up to work my problem, I'm looking for milliliters, right? So I'm gonna start with my milliliters because that's what I want to end up with. And then because I have 3 sets, and this is supposed to be a G, 3 sets of information means I'm gonna have 3 sets of lines. Okay. All right. So what's gonna go at the top?
Milliliters,
Okay, how many?
2 ml,
Okay, and what's gonna go underneath that?
the 150 milligrams.
Okay. All right, and then I'm going to get rid of this because I've used it. All right, so now I have what I needed to end up with, right? This milliliters. And because they're on the same line, they're not going to cancel each other out. So now I need to get rid of this milligram, right? So what has milligram in the problem?
1,000 milligrams.
Okay, top or bottom on that 1,000?
Top,
And what's it married to? What's going to go underneath it?
the 1 gram.
Okay. So now I can draw through this because I don't need it. And then I'm going to go ahead and cancel these 2 things out because I'm gotten rid of those. But now, in order to just get that meal by itself, I still got to get rid of this gram, right? So what has gram in the problem?
The 5 gram.
Okay, top or bottom?
Top,
And what goes underneath it?
the 1.
Okay. All right, and so I don't need that. Okay, and now again, I'm going to cancel out these grams. And y'all, there's a mathematical reason and how to get to this cancellation, but you don't have to worry about all those extra steps. You just got to know that it's going to cancel it out. Okay. All right. So now, because I don't have anything left to get rid of here, and I'm ended up with just my meals because that's what I want to end up with. Now I'm ready to do my math. So 2 times 1,000 is 2,000 times 5 is 10,000.
1,000. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then my 150 times 1 is 1 times 1 is, wait, what I said? 150 times 1 is 1. 150 times 1 is 150 times 1 is 150. All right. And remember, we said this line means what? Division.
Mm-hmm.
Our 10,000, let's see, divided by 150 is going to give us, okay.
66.66 repeating.
Okay. So on the exam, if it doesn't tell you to round, how are you going to list your problem?
But whole number?
I'm sorry, what
67?
was it? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear y'all. Y'all said what? So what place am I going to round to?
The
To the
10th?
The
whole
whole
number.
The
Point
10th
7.
place. Okay. So if I'm rounding, because I'm giving this in meals, okay? And if I think about the syringes or the things that I can use to draw up these milliliters, I can go to the 10th place, okay? Or if you look back at the rules, so remember we posted those rules, was that the week before last, y'all? All my time mixes together. But those rules in your 115 says that any dosage calculation that's for milliliters, that we would round to the 10th place. So that would give us 66 point what?
7.
7.
7. Because this number is greater than 5, that means this is going to go up 1. So we would give 66.7 milliliters. Is everybody good on that one, or any questions on that one?
And that's only for milliliters we do the bound up, or
So yes, so when you're doing milliliters, a liquid medication, you're always going to go to the 10th place.
okay.
Now, when y'all get to IV therapy, that's a little different. You'll be doing meals per hour, but you'll round to a whole number because your pump only goes to a whole number. But when you're giving a liquid like this, whether it's a suspension, whether it's an IM, I mean, we wouldn't give 67.7 IM, but you know, anything that's liquid that we're given in that we can pull up in a syringe, it's going to
Mhm.
go, if it's greater than 1 milliliter, you're going to go to the 10th place. Okay. If it's less than 1 milliliter, who remembers from your calculations rules, what place are we going to go to?
100.
The hundreds. And why is that?
I have no idea.
Okay, so the reasoning is so anytime you're thinking as a nurse, so I want y'all to always, you know me, I'm always trying to get y'all to think as a nurse because that's what you're going to be, right? So if I'm drawing up any medicine and I'm using a syringe greater than 1 ml, that syringe usually can go to the 10th place. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
When you think about a 1 ml syringe, and when y'all get, if y'all haven't looked at syringes yet in class, because I can't remember what chapter that's in, but y'all should have got a skills bag and y'all gonna be looking at those syringes. Your 1 ml syringe goes to the hundredths place. So if I'm drawing up a medicine that's less than 1 ml, I'm gonna round to the hundreds because that's what my syringe goes to. Does that
So,
make?
Ms. Shanta, as
Mhm.
for the rationale, you want to be as accurate as possible, which is why you're going to round to the 10th for greater than 1 mil, and
Correct.
then to the 100th for less than 1 mil, because you're just trying to get to as close to the accuracy as possible.
Correct,
Okay.
correct. Because even though this might not seem like a lot like this one, let's say we rounded this to a whole number. And even though it might not seem like it's that big of a difference, but that's almost a whole meal difference in medication, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and if you think about 1 meal of this medicine is 75 milligrams. So you're losing almost 75 milligrams per dose. So we want to be as accurate, like you said, the purpose of that is to be as close to that exact dose as we can get to make sure that the patient's being treated with the right amount of medication.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Any other questions on this one? All right. So now let me do the tricky one. Okay. So, and I'm letting y'all know every calculations exam you ever have, whether it's clinical, whether it's the one that y'all going to take at the end of module 2, you're always going to have a question like this, if not more than one. All right, let's see. Let me clear this off. All right, so let's look at number 24. So, number 24 is telling us that the doctor has ordered Oh Lord, I don't even know what this medicine is. Probenecide. I'm not even gonna ask y'all what that one is because I don't know myself. I don't know. What is that? What is it? Let's see. It's not a common medicine for sure because I ain't never heard of it. Let's see. Probenecid. Let's see what that is. Oh, look, it looks like I didn't even spell it right on the paper. It's an oral medication to prevent. I don't know if they even use this anymore. This is, it says it's used to treat gout. I'm used to
Mm.
the colchicine and the alpurin, al
Allopurinol.
yes, thank you. I'm like,
Hmm.
so, all right, so this medicine that treats gout too, okay, but it's not very common because I've never really heard of it before. All right, so it says the order is for 15 milligrams. All right, and this one says that it's TID. Okay, and I'm just going to write that because I want to talk about that for a second. Then it says we have available 5 milligrams per 5 meals. But then look at what it's asking me. It's asking me how many teaspoons will I give? Okay. So I wrote this TID right here because when it's ordered the 15 milligrams TID, does this TID matter at all in what I'm looking for right now?
No.
No,
No.
no. So don't let that confuse you. That's that fluff. Okay. We talk about fluff a lot in the math classes because there's always a lot of fluff in there, which is important information because I do need to know how many times to give this, right? But it's
Mhm.
fluff when it comes to actually working out my problem. And as students and as nurses, we have to figure out what is the fluff and what's not, and what's important right at that moment in that order. Okay. All right. So now, is my units the same?
No.
Yes.
Yes. So my milligrams are the same. Okay. But is what it's in and what I need the same?
No.
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 So what conversion factor do I need?
Can we solve the problem and then change it to teaspoons at the end because we'll
You
get
you
milliliters?
can you can if you're doing the dose over half, if you're
Yeah.
doing the dose over half times the quantity,
Mm-hmm.
you can do that. The doing it with the dimensional analysis,
It wouldn't
it's
work.
it's all in one and you don't have to remember to do it at the end.
Okay.
But a lot of times what happens is the students who use the dose over half times quantity, which is not, it's whatever y'all are more comfortable with, right? When y'all figure out that end, what happens is if y'all don't look at that question and see that it's asking for teaspoons, y'all end
Mm-hmm.
up putting the amount that you got in meals as that answer instead
Okay.
of
Hmm.
doing that one more step of the conversion. But yes, you can do it that way.
Okay.
Uh, all right, so if I'm doing dimensional analysis and I know that I need to end up in teaspoons, but I have meals, what is my conversion factor that I need?
One
1
teaspoon
teaspoon of a
equals 5
5 meal.
milliliters.
Okay, so 1 teaspoon equals 5 meals. Because even though these units are the same, because these are not the same, I have to have this conversion factor to make sure that my answer is in the right amount for my teaspoons. Okay. So I'm looking for teaspoons. All right. Now, do I have 3 sets of information? 1, 2, 3.
Hmm.
So that means I'm gonna have my 3 lines, right? Okay. So my teaspoon, what has teaspoon in my information up there?
The
1.
conversion factor.
Okay.
One
So does
teaspoon.
that teaspoon go at the top or the bottom?
Top.
Okay. And what goes underneath it?
5 mil.
Okay. So now I don't need this anymore. I have my teaspoons because that's what I want to end up with. So that's in the right place so it doesn't cancel. So now to get rid of this meals, what has meals in the problem?
5.
5.
Okay, top or bottom?
Top.
No.
Okay, and what goes underneath it?
1.
Don't,
Another 5 milligrams.
there we go. So
Oh,
it's married
5.
to that 5 milligrams right here. So those two are going to stay together. Okay. All right. So now gonna cancel these out, so I've gotten rid of that, but I still gotta get rid of this milligram. So what has milligrams in the problem?
The
5
15
milligrams.
milligrams.
Okay, top or bottom?
Top.
Top.
All right, now what goes under that one?
One.
The one.
The one, because it's here by itself,
Mm-hmm.
that's why we just have that placeholder. So he's just dating this guy right now. He's just free and single. He's just waiting to meet somebody, right? So we just got this fill in right now, okay? So we're gonna draw a line through that. And now these are gonna cancel out. And now is there anything else in the problem that I need to get rid of?
No.
No, because I've gotten rid of the milligrams, gotten rid of the meals, and I just have those teaspoons, which is where I want to end up. So 1 times 5 is 5, times 15 is at 60. 15 times 5,
25.
15 times
Is
5.
this a-
Is it 70?
Oh, 75. Sorry, y'all.
70, yeah.
Okay, I'm like, wait. So I was trying to do that in my head. All right, so 75. Let's try that again. Okay. So now 5 times 5 is 25.
25.
Times 1 is
25.
5. All right. And then remember, this line means division. So
Mhm.
75 divided by 25
It's
is
3.
3. So we're going to give 3
3
teaspoons.
teaspoon. Okay.
So now if we did the dose over half, it would be 15 over 5 milligrams, 15 times 5 meals, which would be 75. Wait, what's 15? Was it 15 times 5? Yeah, 75 divided by 5. What is that?
That'll be
Divided by 5 would be 15. So this would be 15 milliliters. And then you would have to change those milliliters to the teaspoon to get the final answer. So we would have teaspoon equals 1 teaspoon equals 5 meals times 15 meals. And then when we cancel these out, we'd get 15 divided by 5, which would give us our 3. So either way is correct. I like dimensional analysis just because I don't ever have to remember formulas. And so right now it's really just one formula, but when you get into IV therapy, you're going to have meals per hour, you're going to have drops per minute, you're going to have meals per hour for less than for less than an hour, and then you're going to have conversion times and completion times. So all of those have formulas. So right now there's only one to learn, but when you get to IV therapy, there's a lot. So if you know how to do the dimensional analysis, you don't have to memorize all those different formulas.
what, Lord?
So that's why I like dimensional analysis. But either way is correct. Okay. All right, any questions on any of them that we did and how to make sure, that we're converting, how to get our conversion factors, how to know if we need a conversion factor, to figure out those problems. Okay. All right. The second module, ladies, have y'all had the I and O's yet on the exam?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and we never seem to get them right. Well, I don't anyway.
Yeah.
All right. So let's do the I and O one that's on this paper, okay? And that I'm gonna tell y'all, that's the I and O's are the ones that y'all miss the most. Um, so let's do this one. All right. So we have, um, you know what? I think it's gonna be. You know what I'm gonna do? Give me 1 second. I'm gonna pull up. Let me stop. Um, Wait, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay. All right, what I'm gonna do is pull up the paper and we're gonna work it on the paper because that's gonna be easier than me trying to write it all out on the dry erase. I mean, on the, that's not what I wanted. Give me 1 second. All right, here we go.
And Ms. Sanchez,
Uh-huh.
I think we asked you this question before, but it came up again.
Mhm.
Pudding being a solid or a liquid?
So the pudding, so the book, so I was taught, and I was taught that it's a liquid
And
because
liquid.
if you hold it in your mouth or if you leave it at room temperature, it melts, okay, into a
Okay.
liquid. So I was taught that it's done as a liquid. And if you look in your book, so in the calculations book, there's no, it doesn't say one way or the other on pudding.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're looking at what a clear liquid and a full liquid diet is, a full liquid diet has pudding. They can have pudding. So if it's on a full liquid diet, then it's considered a liquid.
Okay.
So, but what I did is on the calculations exams, that's on paper, like the ones that you're going to take at the end of the module, the one that y'all going to take in clinical calculations. I took pudding off of all of those, but the ones that y'all are taking like online, like the EAQ ones, I don't know if those have pudding listed or not.
Okay.
And so I just tried to take it off of the things like the paper ones. That way there's no confusion since the book doesn't specify. And I think Ms. Schamberg and them said, I think she said she was taught that it wasn't a liquid. Or one of my other instructors said that they were taught that it wasn't, but I was taught it was. So now, wherever you work at, okay, if they have pudding in your patients on a strict INO or you're doing INOs, then you're going to have to follow up with what your facility's policy is, okay, when it comes to whether you count it as a food or you count it as a liquid.
And for NCLEX purposes,
Uh,
since they go back
uh,
and forth,
you know what?
it may be one you get wrong.
Yeah, to be honest, I've
Yeah,
never,
I think
I'm
I
gonna tell
read
you
they said
out of,
that they don't include it as a
I was gonna
liquid.
say, I don't know if they
Okay.
include it because I have never had a student tell me that
Okay.
they had it on there. And you know, y'all are good about telling us the different thing. Oh, y'all didn't teach us this, or y'all, you know, like I had this and y'all didn't teach us this. So, usually I will hear if it's some type of weird thing that they're getting, or you know, they'll kind of usually let us kind of know, okay, we felt prepared, we didn't feel prepared, it was everything we knew, you know, kind of thing. So, I don't know one way or the other, but I would think they wouldn't put something like that because it is kind of of I don't want to say vague, but it could go either way, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
All right, so let's look at, let me pull, let me share. Where is my share? There it is. Okay. All right. So what I'm gonna do is just share this screen, and in this way I can just work it on here, which is gonna make it easier than me trying to write everything out on that dry erase. All right, so can everybody see number 13 on here?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so the way that I do it, and the way that I find when y'all do it this way as students, this is where I find y'all have less mistakes. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do our two columns. So we have our ounces and then we have our milliliters. And when I'm documenting INOs, even if it doesn't tell me to convert to meals, when I document as a nurse INOs, what are they always documented in? What units?
Meals.
Meals.
Milliliters.
Okay. So even if it doesn't tell you to convert it to meals, or even if it doesn't ask you for the total in meals, as a nurse, you have to know that it's always going to be in that meals. Okay, so it tells us up here we have our key. So it tells us 1 cup is 8 ounces and 1 glass is 4. And this may change. This 1 cup sometimes might be 4. The glass might be 2. It's all going to depend on what facility you're at, because the carts might not necessarily a cup. I might say, give me that cup on the cart, but that cup on the cart may only hold 4 ounces. Okay. So now let's say it doesn't give you a key at all, like no key up here. Then how much would a cup be?
8 ounces.
8 ounces.
8 ounces, which would be how many meals?
240.
There you go. Okay. All right. But as long as there's a key, you're always going to use what's in that key. All right. So the first thing we have here, we have 2 cups. Oh, Lord, that thing's drawing something weird. So how many ounces are in a cup?
8.
All
8
right.
ounces.
So we're going to write 8 twice. And then I'm just going to check that off. All right. So now I have another cup here. So one more cup. So that's another 8 ounces. And I always check these off as I go. That way I know what I have done and what I still need to go back and do. All right, so now I have this 1/4 cup of, excuse me, 1/4 glass of oat milk. Ugh. All right, so we're going to take our 1/4. I'm just going to write 1/4. And then I have to multiply it by how many ounces that I have in that cup, which is 4.
4.
And when I write this 4, since it's not connected to anything, I'm just going to put that placeholder there. And then I'm going to cross multiply. So 1 times 4 is
4.
4.
4 times 1 is
4.
4. And then 4 divided by 4 is 1.
1.
So I'm going to put my 1 right there, and I'm going to mark that one off. So now this one's 2 teaspoons. So how many meals are in a teaspoon?
5.
5. So if I know 1 teaspoon equals 5 meals, and I have 2 of them, just going to write 5
15.
twice. Okay. And I know that equals 10 meals, but what I try to do is do the least amount of math until the very end. Okay. Now, there's really no way of me getting around doing the math right here, right? Because unless you just good at math and you know you can look at that in your head and figure it out as one, I can't. I have to write it out. So next, we have 2 ounces of mango. So do I need to do anything with that ounce?
No, you can just write the
No.
2.
There we go. I can just write that. All right, so now I have 500 mils of soup. So what am I going to do with that?
Just
Just
write the
write
500 mils.
There we go. I'm just going to write that 500 under my meals. All right, so now I'm back to another fraction. So I have 3/4 of a glass. So again, I'm just going to write my fraction. And then I'm just going to multiply it times how much is in that glass, which is that
4.
4. So I'm going to write my 4 at the top over my 1. 3 times 4,
12.
12. 4 times 1,
4.
4. And that's going to equal 12 divided by 3. Excuse me, 12 divided by 4. Oh, Lord, what's going on? Okay, give me 1 second. Try that again. Well, okay. That's supposed to be a 3. So 12 divided by 4 is 3. So that's 3 ounces. It's going to go right there, and then I'm going to check that off. All right, so now I have 5 tablespoons. So how many meals are in a tablespoon?
15.
15. So 1 teaspoon equals 15 meals. So I'm just going to write my 15 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, so now I got 2 teaspoons of Jello, and we said earlier that 1 teaspoon equals 5 meals. So if I have 2 of those, I'll write my 2 5s. All right, and then on this one, I have 1 1/2 cup of soup. So I'm going to do these separately. So 1 cup is how much?
8 ounces.
Okay. And then if I have a 1/2 cup, so we know we have 1/2. And then we know it's 8 ounces. So my 8 over 1. And then when I do my math, 8 times 1 is
8.
8. 2 times 1 is 2. And then when I divide that 8 divided by 2, gives
4.
me 4. So we got our 4 right there. And then I got 3 ounces of prune juice. So since it's already ounces, I don't have to do any conversions, right?
Right.
So now I'm going to go through and just make sure I have a check mark on everything. Sure that I didn't skip anything. Okay, it looks like we have everything. All right, so now what we're going to do is we need to add up each side separately. Let's see. Let's see.
45 ounces.
Three. Okay. So I got 45 for the ounces.
Yes.
Okay. All right, then let's see what we got on our meals. Did y'all get $5.95 on the meals?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so now I have that one last step, right? To convert the ounces to the meals, we know 1 ounce, 1 ounce
Equals 30 mils.
30 mils.
equals 30 meals. So we know to convert these ounces to meals, I gotta always multiply that ounce times 30 to convert it from ounce to meals. So that would give me
1350.
1350.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now what do I need to do with that 1350?
Add it
Add
to
it.
the 595.
There we go. Then we're going to add it to that to give us a total of
1945.
1945.
That was a
Whoops.
lot and one thing.
So that's a lot, one question. So this is what I recommend whenever y'all do any calculations exams that have the I&O stuff on it, or the intake, or um, just the intake or the output. Do it twice. Okay, so you're going to work this problem out. Now, if it's a paper exam, I would just do the whole exam and then redo it. Okay. But if you're doing the EAQ ones that have the I and O questions, once you go forward, you can't go back. So you would have to do it. I would recommend doing it, setting it up, figuring it out, and then doing it a second time. With that second time, you should get the same answer. If you don't, then you would do it a third time. And then hopefully that third time, you're going to get one of the two answers that you got prior. Now, when you redo it, what I would do is turn my scratch paper over or go completely to a clean section and start over from scratch. You don't want to look at anything you've done already, because if you've did something wrong somewhere, you're not going to catch it if you're looking at what you've already done. Does that make sense? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but I know it's time consuming and to do them more than once, but it's better than missing the problem, and, possibly missing too many on the exam to make that 90% on those paper exams.
Miss Schamberg, I mean,
Mhm.
Miss Sanchez,
Uh-huh.
those I get right. It's when they ask you to calculate the intake and output, and there's shift times that they're asking you for. It's
Okay.
knowing when am I counting something and when I'm not counting something. It,
So Miss Schamberg did ask me about that one day, because I think it was confusing the way it was on the exam. So the way it should be, let me go see if there's a clear paper where I can just
Because
show.
I think on the exam, it ended at 6 p.m., but I think the shift ended at 7, and it's do you count it or you don't count it?
And
Yeah,
so the
I think
way
it's
it
like
sh
seven.
the way it should be for testing purposes, okay? Now the real world is a little different, but for testing purposes is you're going to count. So let's say we had let's say it tells you to count, that you're doing the I and O for 6P to 6A. Well, let's just say 6A to 6P. Okay. Oops. I don't know what I just did that. All right. So 6A to 6P. Okay. In real life, we're going to do I&Os at like 5 a.m. Okay. So you're going to stop counting at like 5 a.m. because that's when we go pull everything. But when we talk about testing, whether it's NCLEX, HESI, in class, it's about the book. Okay. And if the
Mm-hmm.
book says that you're doing I&O for 6A to 6P, anything that's in that time frame, all the way up to 5:59 p.m., is going to be in that I&O. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. And so Miss Schamberg did ask me about that because I think she had told y'all something different, like you count. I don't think she told you to count all the way. I think is what she was saying. Well, because that's not what we do in real life, in which we don't. But
Mm-hmm.
we're teaching when we're in the classroom, we have to teach like what the book says and what the proper way is. The proper way, not that we do it improper in the real world, but the proper
Mm-hmm.
way in the book says it's a 6A to 6P. So we're counting everything within that time frame. And so, yeah, so you would count everything in there. So if it's 6A to 6P and it says the patient ate breakfast, patient ate lunch, and they had an afternoon snack, and then all of these things would be in here, right? Because breakfast is usually around, approximately 8. This is usually approximately 12. This is usually somewhere around 4P. So even if it doesn't give you a time, all of these would be within that 6A to 6P because those would have been those times. Now, if it says on there for dinner, y'all call it dinner? We used to call it supper, but now they say dinner. For dinner, it would depend if you included that you would have to know what the time of dinner is at that facility. So
Okay.
hopefully if they're giving you a problem like that, if it's saying dinner, it gives you like a time frame, like 5 p.m. or something, to where you know whether to add it within that 6P amount or not.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. And now when you get out in the real world, like we're gonna pull, because you're leaving, you're giving a report and leaving at 6P, right? So you're not
Right.
gonna be down the hall pulling I&Os. So usually we pull I&Os an hour before the shift ends, but which is not incorrect because everybody's doing that, so it's still covering the whole 24 hours. Uh,
Right.
but for testing purposes, it's whatever is in that time frame is what you're gonna include.
Okay.
Okay.
Essentially, does
Uh-huh.
that also include like if it's output and it says is that you're still doing like 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., but the output is at 6 p.m. Do I record that as well?
So did they do like is it doing like an hourly thing or does it say just that it was emptied,
Yeah, it said it was empty
emptied
that
at
yeah.
6P? If it's telling you to count it for 6P, 6A to 6P, it should be within it.
Okay.
Is that how it was the answer? Is that how the answer was?
I think, but I thought like since the shift ended at 6, then we won't do.
But because and I hate when they do them exactly like that because it can be confusing. Like usually when I write exams or something, I try to not put it right on the dot. But anything that falls, that's that time frame. Because the other one, you're really doing, even though this is 6A to 6P, it's really 6:01 to 5:59. And then the night shift, 6P to 6A, is really 6:01 p.m. to 5:59 a.m. So it can be very confusing, but as long as it's on that dot, like that's how it's got to, it's going to be within there. I hate that if they are that way on the exam, like within that exam online, bless you, that I wish they wouldn't do it that way. We might have to look at maybe trying to weed those questions out.
Okay.
Um, all right, let's see. Let me look. All right, so any. Any other questions? Okay, oh, I know what other one. So have y'all had the exam yet with the tube feeding questions? Are y'all okay on those? Yeah, remember, like it would say, like let's look at number 14 on here. So it says that the patient gets Ensure per peg tube, let's see, 12 ounces per peg BID. Okay, and then it's asking us how many milliliters in 24 hours.
Yeah, I think that's chapter 18.
Oh, y'all haven't made it to that one
I
yet.
don't
Okay.
think so.
Okay. We'll go ahead and do
Mm-hmm.
this one because it's kind of like INO. So, and then it says how many milliliters per feeding. Okay. So it's asking us for meals, right? And what is our order in right now?
Ounces.
So how am I going to convert that to meals? What am I going to multiply it times?
30.
30. So 30 times 12 is that 360? Let's see.
Yes.
360. All right, so we have 360 milliliters per feeding. Okay. So if this is BID, how many feedings is that a day?
Twice.
2.
2 feedings. Okay. So if it's 360 per feeding, that's how much they're getting per feeding. And then for the 24 hours, if they're getting it BID, which is 2 feedings, I'm just going to multiply this times 2, which is going to give me, is that 720?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
720 milliliters per day. So this is when you're looking at like the 2 feeding one, almost think of it like those orders, like your med orders. It's saying the 12 ounces per peg BID. This 12 ounces is how much you're going to walk into the room for every feeding. Now you're going to go in twice, which is your BID, to do the 12 ounces. So it's kind of if you look at it, kind of the same like looking at your orders. This is how much was ordered. This is the frequency. So each time I walk in, I'm bringing 360 meals. But for that whole day, because it's 2 feedings, it's going to be the 720.
Okay.
Okay. Do I have any of my seniors still on here? Do y'all need me to go over a peds one, or y'all good on that?
I personally would like you to go over the peds, but that
Okay.
depends on the majority. I'm in my 2. I'm
Okay.
not a senior.
Okay.
But I know we're going to get to that, but I just want to make sure I understand it. I think I have a good idea of it.
Okay. Let me just finish looking through here real quick. All right, and if any of my seniors are still on here, do y'all need any help with the IV stuff? Any drops per minute, meals per hour? Y'all good on that? Okay. Let's see what else is on here. Let's see. Okay, and that one's just per that, and then the immune syringes. Okay, so let's look at. All right, so number 30, yeah, 39. Trying to see if I had more than one practice peds on here. I think that is it. Okay. All right, so let's look at the pediatric one. Okay, so let me clear this. Okay. All right, so for peds, so we'll look at number 39. All right, so it tells us that we have an order for 25 milligrams every 6 hours for a child weighing 37.4 pounds. And our recommended dose is 5 to 7 milligrams per kilogram per 24 hours and divided Q6 hours. All right. So anytime you're working with any dose calculations that's by weight, the weight always has to be in kilograms. Okay. So the first thing I always do is when I write out my weight, if it's in pounds, I'm automatically going to draw myself a line and write kilograms to remind myself that I got to convert that to kilograms. The other thing I always do is I look at how often it's given, and I go ahead and I write myself a little note of how many doses this is. So if it's every 6 hours, how many doses is that patient getting in 24 hours?
4.
4.
4, okay? Because 24 divided by 6 is 4, okay? So I know they're getting 4 doses. So what I have to do first is how am I going to convert the 37.4 kilograms, pounds to kilograms?
Conversion.
Okay, and so I have 1 kilogram equals how many pounds?
2.2.
2.2, yeah.
Okay, so one of the things I know I always tell y'all it's best to work everything out, but one of those things, kind of like when you're converting ounces to meals for INOs, you always want to kind of just seal in your brain that anytime I'm going from pounds to kilograms, I'm going to divide. Okay, so 37.4 divided by my 2.2
17.
is, I'm sorry, what was it?
I got
17.
17.
kilograms.
Okay, is it 17 even?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if it wasn't 17 even, what do I always round weights to? What place?
The tenths.
The tenths, okay? So if it wasn't an even number right here, then we would round it to the tenths place, okay? All right, so now what I got to do is, so the first question was asking me, what is the child's weight in kilograms? So 17 pounds, okay? The second question is asking us what is the, actually, second.
17 kilograms, right?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, 17 kilograms. I'm sorry. Let me write this over here because I need to be under there. Okay, I'm sorry. So 17 kilograms. Okay. Then the second one is asking us what is the dose range for this child? Okay. So when you're looking at any pediatric dosing or medications, every single medication is going to depend on that patient's weight, is going to depend on how much you give. Okay. The recommended range that's right here, this is the safe dose range that the manufacturer has said that for every kilogram of a child's weight, 5 to 7 milligrams is safe. Okay. So the reason why I have to convert this to kilograms is because I then have to multiply what the manufacturer says that is the safe range, which is 5 to 7. So I have to multiply each side by my child's weight. And what that's going to give me is what the safe dose is for this child. Okay. So a child who weighs 17 kilograms, the safe dose range is going to be 17 times 5. Oops, where's my calculator? Up here.
85.
85. Okay. And then 7 times 17 is what?
119.
119.
One,
19.
119. Okay. All right. So this right here, this 85 to 119 milligrams per 24 hours is safe for this child who's weighing 17 kilograms. Okay. So the safe dose range for this child is 85 to 119 milligrams per 24 hours. Okay. So now it's asking us, is this order safe for our patient? Okay. So my doctor ordered 25 milligrams. Okay. how many doses is this patient getting in a day? We said
4.
4, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I have to multiply this 25 times 4, and this is going to tell me how much they're getting in 24 hours, which is 100 milligrams. So if the range that is safe for this patient is 17 kilograms is 85 to 100, and my doctor has ordered 100 milligrams, since that falls between this range, it is safe. If it fell below 85 or above 119, then it would not be safe. Okay? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then it's asking us to calculate how many milliliters we would give if our dose was safe. So this is the thing. So let's say on the exam that our dose was not safe. Okay. And the next question asks you how many milligrams would be given. You would say none or 0
No.
because if
No.
it's not safe, are you going to give it?
No.
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 So even though the question may be saying how many milliliters must be given per dose to administer the ordered dosage, if it's not safe, you're going to say 0. Okay. All right. But since this one is safe, it says that we have available 25 milligrams per 5 meals. So now it's asking us how much will we give per dose. Okay. So each time I go in there, at this point, am I worried about the 4 doses or anything like that?
No.
No, because we've
No,
established that it's going to be a safe.
a
Correct.
safe dose, right?
So all I'm worried about right now is how much am I going to walk in there to give this patient, right? Now, this one you can kind of look at it. I mean, it's 25 is ordered, 25 is available, so I'd give 5 meals. But we would go ahead and work it out just to be on the safe side. Okay. Even if I can look at a problem like this and I know that I would give 5 meals, I still work it out because this is a child's life that's in my hands. I don't want, whether it's a child or an adult, I'll always work out my problems, even if I feel like I know what it should be. All right, so if I have 5 meals and then these are the same already, so I don't have to do any conversions. So my meals, I have 5 meals. So is that going to go at the top or the bottom?
Top.
Okay, and what is it? What's going to go underneath that?
25 milligrams.
25 milligrams.
Okay, and so we've used that, and now I still got to get rid of that milligram. So what has milligrams in the problem?
The 25
25 at the
milligrams
top.
ordered.
Okay,
At the
top or
top.
bottom? All right,
Top.
Top.
The top
go top. And what's going to go underneath there?
One.
one.
1.
Just that one. And then we're going to cancel these out. So I'm only left with the milliliters, which is what I want, right? So
Mm-hmm.
5 times 25 is 125.
Mm-hmm.
And then 25 times 1 is 25. And then when I divide that 125 by 25,
You
it's
get
going
the
to give
5.
me
5
that 5
mils.
meals.
And just a question, Miss Sanchez,
Mhm.
could we cross multiply if we wanted to?
When you say cross multiply, like what do you
Like
mean?
that 25 and 25, couldn't we like cancel those out?
Yeah, you could cancel that, and be 5 over 1 equals 5. Yes, you could do it either way. I usually don't do canceling whenever I'm teaching because it confuses some people, so I use it. But yes, if you're comfortable with canceling, I can't talk. Yes, you could do that.
Okay, I just
Yeah,
wanted to make sure. Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah. All right. So yeah, really the peds ones is kind of they're not really hard. They're more intimidating when you kind of look at it all and what all you have to do, but really to be honest, it's really not hard at all. You're just converting to
Mm-hmm.
kilograms, then you're multiplying, then you're figuring out, how much you're giving for that day or whatever the case may be and see if it falls in there. And then just doing your dosage. So it's really not that hard. It can be very, when you first kind of look at it all, it can be overwhelming to see all the different stuff,
Hmm.
especially like when you start writing, like when you start looking at like the milligrams per kilograms per,
Hmm. It
how,
seemed pretty simplistic. I just wanted to know how you teach it as opposed to Miss Schamberg, just to make sure I understand. So,
yeah,
one thing that you did mention was that we absolutely have to convert it into kilograms in order to finish it,
correct.
to be able to convert. Okay,
Correct. And
thank
that's
you.
with anything, even if you're doing weight problems for adults, and because sometimes you'll have that, it's always going to be per kilograms. It's always going to be kilograms because all your manufacturers, they're going to have their safe ranges are always going to be per kilogram. So you got to make sure that you know what your patient's weight is in kilograms to make sure that is correct, that you're getting the right dosage there.
So, Miss,
Okay, so you said even for adults as well. We didn't get
Yes.
into that. I assume we will be getting into that,
There
but
is
it's
a few questions, I forget what chapter it is that talks about per something for an adult, but it's gonna all this will be set up the same. It'll
pretty much the
just
same
correct it just
calculation. Okay,
the patient might weigh, 200 pounds instead of, 37 pounds. So, but it's everything will be like the same. You would multiply, you'd figure out the kilograms and then you would multiply it times that dose that they're getting.
gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Mhm. All right, any other questions on those?
yeah, I
Uh,
did have one question.
Okay.
So when I did some practice problems, with like a YouTube video,
Okay.
they got the safe range of the 85 to like 119. Then they had did an additional step where they divided the dose,
So
like they divided 85 by 4 and then they divided 119 by 4. When will we do that step?
you can do it that way, but personally,
Hmm.
um, it's an extra step. So instead of doing what they did, we just multiplied the dose by the four.
Okay.
So it's an either or. So either you're going to take the order and multiply it by however many doses, or what we would have did is because this right here says it's in every 6 hours, which would have been four doses, we would have divided each side of these by four
and got the range.
and then made sure that this 25 fell between here.
Now
Okay.
I did the same thing, Miss Sanchez, and
Mhm.
that wouldn't that be more geared toward how much you're given per dose?
It's still per dose. So this is the thing. It's either you're doing it per dose, which is the order here,
Mm-hmm.
or you're doing it per the 24 hours, which is what this is.
Right.
So both ways is correct. It's just one you're looking at the per dose, one you're looking at per 24 hours, but both ways is still going to get you to the correct answer of is it safe?
Okay, but you would recommend the per 24
I,
hours?
I just do it, I do it this way
Mm-hmm.
for a couple different reasons. Number one is just one step versus two. And then number two is that this entails division, which more students have trouble with division than they do multiplication.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I usually teach it that way. So
Okay,
one
makes
less
sense.
step and it's multiplication versus two steps in division. So,
Okay, yes, ma'am.
but
Thank you.
but again, it's whatever, both ways are correct. It's just whatever you're more comfortable with. Okay. Any other questions on that? I think we've kind of covered everything so far, up to, and on this practice exam, there's some labels because you'll have labeling on that exam that you'll have at the end of module two. It's also got some syringes on there with the answer sheets and stuff. Because you'll have to label syringes on that paper exam that you'll have at the end of 115, and then same thing, when you get to the end of third module, you'll have that calculations exam, which that one that I posted earlier in your 115, if you could download that and save it somewhere, because when you get to third module, you'll need to be, reviewing that for that calculations exam that you'll have at the end of third module. So, just so you'll have that as a reference, just in case I'm not around or something anymore, y'all will have, you'll have kind of that mock exam there. So,
Okay. Miss Sanchez,
uh-huh.
how do we go about, like, if we need tutoring for like the next section that we get in?
When you
Are
say
we
the next section, you mean for 115 or
Yeah,
just?
for the next test.
Okay. I know I saw whoa, I'm sorry, Miss Schamberg, I can't talk. She posted some stuff that she was doing some tutoring today too, I think, and
Mm-hmm.
that was more for, I think, specific to that next exam that y'all gonna have. Is that what you mean, or?
I think she was going over what's going to be on the exam tomorrow.
Okay, okay. And then,
I think I was more concerned about those dosages where I think it was, I don't know if it's not called conversions.
okay,
I'm looking in my textbook right
okay.
now to try to figure it out. Because what's been happening is we are getting lecture on chapters that are so far ahead that we haven't even taken the test on the things.
And there's a reason why we have this class set up that way. So
Uh-huh.
the reasoning is because, normally your normal classes, like we'll lecture a couple of days and then you'll have an exam. We'll
Mm-hmm.
lecture a couple of days and we have an exam. The issue with this class is that if we do that, then you only have a day to learn math. And
Mm-hmm.
so the reason why they're spaced out the way that they are is because it's giving the students about a week or so to be practicing math questions, to be working on the calculations to make sure that they have it down and that it's sticking. So
Okay.
that's why this class is set up a little different. It's not, you're not lecturing and then having the exam. Because if we did that, it's not really fair to the students because it's not giving y'all enough time to truly learn how to do the math, have it stick. Okay, I've done, 50 problems or whatever. I have it now. It's second nature versus us teaching it. You got one night to learn it and then you're coming back and trying to take a math test.
Okay.
So that's why it
Um,
is the way that it is.
what I was referring to was the reconstitution of solutions.
Okay. I don't think y'all
That
gotten to that yet.
We haven't, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm not.
I think it's supposed to be the next chapter that we go
Okay.
over.
Yeah,
Okay.
And
chapter
from what
18.
we started, I'm just gonna be honest, I was just hella confused. I was
Okay.
like,
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
didn't really
sure
want to say anything,
which
but
one of these
yeah.
numbers I'm supposed to be looking at. I don't know where
Okay.
I'm supposed to be plugging the number in.
Okay.
From what the question was asking, like I just got
Okay.
completely lost. So that's the only reason
Okay.
why I was asking. I know she didn't get to go into it in detail, but I was
Mhm.
already confused about where we started from already.
Okay. So do this after she's finished lecturing on that chapter, because I think, is that chapter 18?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Chapter
Okay, chapter
18.
18. Okay, I was trying to remember what chapter it was. So after she's finished lecturing on that chapter, if y'all need tutoring after that, then just kind of reach out and then we can see what we can set up from there. Either I can
Okay.
try to maybe come one day early before class,
Okay.
and then do it that way. And just to make sure that y'all, are getting it. It's
Okay.
really the main thing with reconstitution, the only thing different with reconstitution from all your other stuff is just that you have to read the label to see how much solution you have to add to the powder. And
That's what she
so,
kept
yeah.
saying, but I mean, we got that part on the I mean, I did
Hmm.
get that part.
Yeah.
It's 4 mLs on that particular test, but what to do after that is where
So,
I was unclear.
yeah. So what you do after is like if you continue to read the label. Actually, let me see what I have on this thing right here. Let me see something. Is this one a reconstitution?
Like
Um,
I know we're gonna, get into it, and I love Miss Schamberg, but everybody has their certain way of
Yeah, and
teaching.
everybody's different on how they teach, especially when it comes to math, because it can vary so much. Actually, I'm just realizing I don't even think I have a reconstitution practice thing on this
I
test.
don't think I saw one.
Oh, Lord. Okay, I'm gonna have
Like one of the ones I'm looking at in the book is Cefaclor, Cefaclor,
So
and it
what page?
reads
Hold on a second.
250 milligram per
What page is
5
that?
milliliter.
Sorry, what page is that?
Oh, it was on page 391.
Okay, let me go to that page. Let's see.
And it's the one at the top.
Okay, let's see. All right. You said page 391.
Yes, ma'am.
Right, let me get there. And then let me take a look and see. Okay, where's my book at? There we go.
You talking about cephalacor, Phoebe?
Yeah.
Okay, I see it.
All right, so let's see, 391. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay. Okay. So is it the one, see, it says where it says the directions for mixing the oral suspension?
Well, I guess what
Or
was confusing was she said, okay, it's already at the 150 ml.
okay.
Because you see how it says 250
Oh,
milligrams
okay.
per 5 milliliters. And I
Correct.
guess when it's mixed, you have 150 milliliters. Is
Okay.
that correct?
Yes, so let me explain it a little bit more. Yes, that
Mm-hmm.
is correct. But where is my,
Because, like, if I had to do any calculations of how much I'm supposed to give,
that's
which
what,
one of these numbers am I supposed to be using? What is already mixed? What, and then
okay.
where am I plugging the numbers in to know what's the
Okay.
correct dose?
All
Right.
right. So where is,
Off the bat,
oh,
I'm thinking to divide
okay.
5 by 150 to find out how much we even
Okay.
reconstituted with.
Okay. All right. So what you're gonna do here is, let me find my piece to write with. There we go. Why is that doing that? Okay, here we go. Okay. So a couple of things I want to point out here. Okay, so right here it says direction for mixing. Okay. So you're gonna mix. So a couple of things I want to break down on here, okay? So it says that we're going to add 106 milliliters of water, okay, in two portions to the dry mixture, okay? Then it tells us that each 5 meals, will contain approximately 125 milligrams of the medicine, okay? So 125 milligrams per 5 meals. Okay, that's a lot. Okay, then it's telling us we got to refrigerate it, so it's telling us a few different things. Now here it's telling us like our safe dose range and stuff, kind of like what we just did with the peds, but we don't need that right now. So, couple things. I'm adding 106 milliliters of water. Okay, now this is the form is an oral suspension. Okay. So if it's an oral suspension, what type of water am I adding?
Sterile
Sarah water.
water?
Right out the faucet, y'all.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh,
So if it's an oral suspension, unless it says sterile, which it normally does not, we're just going to get it right out the faucet. Okay. And
Mm.
then it's telling us that after we mix it, it's only going to be good for 14 days and we have to keep it in the refrigerator. Okay. And then after that 14 days, we got to throw it out. Okay. So so after I add this 106 mils to this powder, because this bottle has powder in it, and reconstitution is just meaning I'm adding something to that powder to mix it into a suspension or whatever it's going to be. Okay. Once I add this 106, then the whole bottle is going to have 150 milliliters. Okay. So let me ask you this. How is that bottle gonna now have 150 milliliters if I only put 106?
I guess it's because let me do some math.
So think about this. Who's ever made instant mashed potatoes?
Me.
Me.
Okay, and you start off with what, about a cup of water and milk if you're just making
Mm-hmm.
one or two servings. How much you end up with?
Way more.
Way more,
Yeah.
right?
So I'm guessing there's only 44 mLs of powder.
So correct. So once
Okay.
that powder, because there's so much powder, that when you add this water, it's going to expand it and make it more because of the volume of the powder that the powder's taken up. Does that make sense? So kind of think
Mm-hmm.
about your mashed potatoes.
Yes.
I add that 100, 100, not 100 mils. I add that cup of milk and water to that cup or so of potatoes, and then it's going to expand to a lot more in that pot, right? So that's
Mhm.
kind of how you can think about this. Even though I'm only adding that 106, when it's dissolving that powder, it's going to ultimately expand and have that 150 mils of water with that powder mixed in it. Okay.
Mhm.
So the other thing, so that I just kind of want to explain why these two numbers are different. Okay. Why that once you add 106, how did I come up with 150? Okay. So this 150, that's your whole bottle. Okay.
Okay.
So when I'm figuring out my my dose, how much I'm going to give, I'm not going to worry about this whole bottle, right? Because am I giving the whole bottle at one time?
No.
No. What I'm worried about is this small amount right here. So it's telling me for every 5 meals of this 150, so I have 150 meals total, but for every 5 meals, there's 125 milligrams of medicine.
Mm.
Okay. So if it's asking me, if it's telling me, did it tell us how much was ordered on here?
Mm.
Uh,
Not on this one. The questions were how
let's say
much dilutant must be added to
okay,
prepare the solution, what
okay,
type of solution
okay,
is used, the
okay,
final dosage, and how should the medication be stored was the
okay.
questions.
Okay, so you would add 106 mils of
Mm-hmm.
water, okay? Your final, it's tell us to store it for 14 days in the refrigerator. And then your final dosage is going to be 125 milligrams per, excuse me, per 5 meals, okay? Now, because this 150 right here, another way that you can look at it is this right here is really the only dosage that it's giving us. This is telling us how much total fluid, but does it tell us how much total milligrams is in this total fluid?
No.
No. So I wouldn't be able to use that dosage to figure out a dosage because I don't know how many milligrams is in this total.
Mm. Okay.
Okay. So for this, the dose would be 125 milligrams per 5 meals. If you don't write that per 5 meals, it's wrong because if you just tell me it's 125 milligrams, is that per meal? Is that per 150 meals? Is that
Mm-hmm.
per, so you have this whole amount should be the dosage.
So
So
Okay.
that
when it says
100 and
concentration, what is concentration?
So
What do they mean by that?
the concentration I would think would be the 125 and then the
Okay.
dosage would be 125 per meal.
Okay.
mhm.
Is that
And
what
what I
it's
was
letting
gonna
me?
ask is
Okay.
like the 150 mLs is just the total volume. Like for
Correct.
okay.
Correct. And so
Okay.
now sometimes this won't be right here. Okay. It'll just tell you this and then it'll tell you the total amount. But see right here, sometimes you have to read through here, through this section. So sometimes it's not on the front here. You have to read. And it told us, if we read right here, each 5 meals or 1 teaspoon will then contain however you say it, sorry, y'all, to 125 milligrams. So it's telling us that after we mix it for every 5 meals, we would have 125 milligrams of the
Mm.
medicine.
Okay.
So it's not always going to be right here on the label. Sometimes we have to read that once we mix it, what is my concentration going to be, or what's my dosage going to be after that?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, that
Does that
helps me understand a lot. Thank you.
that helps? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
so really, when you're talking about reconstitution, the biggest thing with reconstitution is really reading through all of this and pulling out, knowing what you need to pull out. Like, how much do I need to add? And then how much is it telling me is going to be there after? Now, let me show y'all one other one that will get y'all, that is a little tricky. So let me erase this one. All right, let me do, let me find the one that's got, okay, look at, okay, let me see something. Let me see if this is one. Okay. Okay. All right. So can y'all see the leucovorin
Yes.
label? Okay. So leucovorin is a actually a chemotherapy. It's a pretty bad one, but so this is a chemotherapy. So this one is telling us that, oops, where's my little writing thing? So this one tells us it's 100 milligrams per vial. So if I'm doing a problem on this one, how do I know how much is in the vial? Like if I'm working out a math problem, I just can't put on there that it's 100 milligrams per vial, right? Because then do I still know how much is in there?
No, because you have to reconstitute it, right?
Okay, so how do I know how much is in that vial? How do I know how much that 100 milligrams, how much fluid is it in? How do I know how much is in? Because it doesn't tell
It's in the
me.
label.
Okay, so what's it telling me in the label?
I see it says to add 10 milliliters of sterile water.
Okay, so it says reconstitute with 10 milliliters of sterile water, okay, or bacterial static water, so either one of them, so sterile water or bacterial static water, okay, so to equal to 10 milligrams
10
of
milligrams.
glucovorin, okay, so how much is total in the vial? So if it's telling me to add 10 mils and I have 100 milligrams per vial, then it's going to be 100 milligrams per how much?
Per ml?
How many mLs?
2?
Two? Where'd you get two from?
Um, I just did a conversion of 100 milligrams over 10 milligrams.
Okay. So actually what it's going to be is because I'm adding 10 mils to the vial, now I have 10 milligrams in my vial. So it's going to
Oh,
be
okay.
100 milligrams per 10 mils.
Per 10, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So it won't always, again, right here, it won't always give you an amount. It may just say 100 milligrams or however much per vial. And then you have to look in here and say, okay, how much am I adding to that vial to be the total amount?
So if it says per vial, however many milliliters you're adding is going to be your per, like,
Correct.
okay.
Correct. And sometimes down here, which it looks like it started, oh, what not, it didn't start, but looks, see right here. So it says each meal of the leucovorin is going to have 10 milligrams of leucovorin. So you can do the whole vial, 100 milligrams per 10, or you can do the 10 meals, excuse me, milligrams per meal. You could use either one of these to work out the problem. They would both give you the same answer. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay. So you could either do the whole vial, the 100 milligrams with the 10 meals, or if we read farther, it said for every meal, we had 10 milligrams. So you could use either one of these to figure out how much you would give the patient. Do those help a little bit on reading the kind of pulling that information out of the label?
It helped me. I'm just taking
Okay.
notes.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right. Hopefully it I know so who I don't remember who else was asking me earlier. The
It helped me. That was me, Lasandra.
okay, it did help you. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
All right. And so after she's finished, lecturing on this part, if y'all still need, some, I'm sorry, I can't figure out how to, anyway, if y'all still need some additional, review or tutoring or whatever, y'all can always reach out. And like I said, I can try to come one day before class or something. and, maybe do some, 30 minutes before class or something like that. If y'all need it.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Sanchez.
Yes,
All right.
definitely appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, and I'll post this link in y'all's announcements once it's uploaded to the cloud. That way, if y'all want to download it to your computer or relook at it later or whatever, it'll be there.
Okay. Thank
All right.
you.
Appreciate
Thank
it. Thank
you.
you.
Y'all have a good evening.
You
You too.
too.
Thank
All right.
you.
All right.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
All right.